Bye.
Today we're going to talk about vapor barrier and the wall structure. $830. 970, sir.
So we're measuring the height of the bed there, and then seeing if when we sit on bed, we still have our heads. So basically that day, I completely ignored what David was saying, and I was trying to explain that we were measuring the height of the bed to make sure that when the bed was ready, plus considering the size of the mattress, that we wouldn't hit our heads on the ceiling. I was still sanding and painting all the pallets to get them ready for the kitchen, for the furniture, while David finished the wool, and then we are going to start the vapor barrier. As I mentioned on the previous video, we went for this green plastic for the vapor barrier. You can find some foil material, but this is cheaper and I highly recommend this material because this is used in construction. So we measured everything, cut, and then went to put it up. And of course, we shit on it. We made loads of mistakes along the way, and this was just another one. We put the whole plastic there, and then we realized that we forgot to actually put the wood for the bed. We started the day measuring the bed, and then we forgot that, but that's part of the game. So once we finished putting the vapor barrier in both sides, we realized that, then we had to cut and then put the wood there, fix that in the metal, and then put another layer of plastic, just glued everything to make sure that there was no air coming in, to keep the moisture away from the wool insulation and the interior metal of the van to prevent rust. Mistakes will happen. You're going to change your plan. Sometimes you have a material, like we bought some woods that day to put as a wall and then fix our cabinets on it, and then once we realized the wood wouldn't bend as much as we wanted, we just decided to use some plywood we had from the van, from the shelves that were in the van, and it worked pretty well. So really just go with the flow. When something goes wrong, have a seat, grab a coffee, grab a tea or a beer, think again, replan, and don't stress too much. So there you can see David fixing the wood on the metal after we cut the plastic, and you can see the double layer of plastic we put there under the wood. There won't be any moisture coming in. And here we go to do the same on the other side, of course. So that's going to be the height of the bed where we're going to build all the frame and put the mattress. And then we realized we made another mistake on the same day because we didn't leave space enough at the bottom. So when we went to put the floor, the plywood on the floor, we realized we didn't have plastic enough and the wood would actually wreck the plastic. So we cut the plastic open up and put a double layer of plastic and glue everything as well. We also used the tape I mentioned on the previous video, and you're gonna find all the links in the description for all the materials. I'm zooming in so you guys can see the way the plastic is really stretched. And now after fixing, we are able to put the wood, the plywood on the floor, and we had no problems. So after fixing that, I was back to my task, sanding and painting the pallets, which I love doing. We started on the next day covering the wheel curves with the tape to make sure the friction from the plywood we were going to put wouldn't rip the plastic apart. And now, rather than just having a saw and a drill, we have a jigsaw. The jigsaw is helping a lot already because it would be really hard to cut the curves only with the saw. You're saving time. But we have to say, it is difficult to get cordless tools that are not really expensive. And we need to buy cordless because our lovely landlady doesn't allow us to use the power from our house. Remember that problem as well? We're still in lockdown, so this means we have time because we're not traveling or going anywhere at the moment, only working and working on the van. But if when you're watching this video, you want to enjoy your time a little bit more, find someone with the right tools and space for the job, this will be quicker. Building the wall wasn't difficult, but it's time consuming to fit this right. With that said, don't forget, as I mentioned before, we are enjoying a lot the whole process of converting the van with our own hands. We are using the plywood that was on the wall when we bought the van, and the only reason why we are putting it back is to support everything we will build from now on. We will need to drill some parts where now we have only the insulation, so there's no need to go fancy or spend much money. This is just part of the structure. When you're building something, make sure you measure the size of your screws. It sounds stupid, but when you start building something, you have many things to buy and many decisions to make that you might forget that you need to measure all the materials together to make sure your screw is going through everything. Doing this, everything is going to be secure enough. We're happy to be reusing the plywood and doing our part trying to be sustainable. Plus, every time we use something that was originally in the van, this means less wood to take down and up every day we're working on it. So guys, these are the tips for today. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the Movano Conversion playlist if you enjoy following our journey. We see you in our next video.
Good. Today we're going to talk about... What are we talking about? What are we talking about?